Huh? I've arrived. Don't you remember when you went first to school? You went to kindergarten. And in kindergarten, the idea was to push along so that you could get into first grade. And then push along so that you could get into second grade, third grade, and so on, going up and up. And then you went to high school, and this was a great transition in life. And now the pressure is being put on. You must get ahead. You must go up the grades and finally be good enough to get to college. And then when you get to college, you're still going step by step, up to the great moment in which you're ready to go out into the world. And then when you get out into this famous world comes the struggle for success in profession or business. And again, there seems to be a ladder before you, something for which you're reaching all the time. And then, suddenly, when you're about 40 or 45 years old in the middle of life, you wake up one day and say, huh? I've arrived. And by Jove, I feel pretty much the same as I've always felt. In fact, I'm not so sure that I don't feel a little bit cheated. Because, you see, you were fooled. You were always living for somewhere where you aren't.
That's the rat race. Thinking you're going to get something. Spin that wheel there. Round and round the wheel of fortune. Where what you gain on the roundabout, you lose on the swings. Now what's the nature of the rat race?
Because we've simply cheated ourselves the whole way down the line. We thought of life by analogy with a journey, with a pilgrimage, which had a serious purpose at the end, and the thing was to get to that end, success or whatever it is, or maybe heaven after you're dead. But we missed the point the whole way along. It was a musical thing, and you were supposed to sing or to dance while the music was being played. But you had to do that thing. You didn't let it happen. Now, there's nothing wrong, you see, in wanting to be rich. There's nothing at all wrong in being rich. In fact, I think the world without rich people would be extraordinarily boring. Point is, you have to understand what riches are. And they are not money. Riches are land, clothes, food, houses, intelligence, energy, skill, iron, forests, gardens. Those are riches. But when you're concentrating, you see, only on making the buck, you're just on a rat race, on a treadmill. The faster it moves, it doesn't get anywhere it doesn't even stay in the same place. The way that led to liberation from the rat race that I've drawn here, neither through austerities nor through pleasure seeking. You say, well, now what's the right thing to do? I say back to you, why are you looking for the right thing to do? And then you have to consider your situation, where you are. And you say, well, I'm looking for the right thing to do because I feel that I'm in the wrong situation. I don't have peace of mind. Why do you want peace of mind? Because my mind is disturbed. Then in other words, you as a disturbed mind are trying to find peace of mind. Your quest for peace of mind is the same thing as having a disturbed mind. Now, if you don't have a disturbed mind, you won't ask for peace of mind. Well, how can I quiet my mind? Why are you asking to quiet your mind? Because it's disturbed. You see where you are? You work in order to make money to play. This is insane. Because you spend most of the time working. Then you come home with that and you're supposed to play. Well, you're pretty tired to begin with. And we just don't play. That's all there is to it. You might play Saturday or something, when there's the day off. But in the evening, very few people actually play. They sit and passively watch television. And they got all the money in the world, but we don't enjoy it. Not really. There's no gusto for it. You would think that people would come home and have orgies and banquets and with all that money. And they don't. It's just a sort of constant disappointment.
If you drop out of one situation, you drop into another. And so, observe where you drop in when you drop out. Well now, that brings me then to this point that I will call the great diversion. The future is something you cannot work for exactly the same reason that you cannot work to be happy. Happiness, it's always said, is a byproduct. And it will accrue to you through becoming absorbed in something else altogether, in some other quest altogether. Quest for vision, the quest for doing something, anything, may bring happiness. And so in exactly the same way, the good future, the great society, the grand tomorrow, is never going to be attained by working for it directly. When you've got that idea, which is embodied just as much in the 5-year plan as it is in the Great Society, of working for that thing, you will never make it. The only way you can get the good future is by a diversion from time altogether, at right angles to the course of history. So what is important now, today, is to create a diversion of such splendor that people will forget about the things they think are important. All their squabbles, all their ridiculous projects for destroying the planet in the name of progress. And give it up because they see something else is going on, which is a great deal more fun. And that is, instead of preparing to live the great life as a result of all sorts of preparations, use what capacities you now already have for living the great life to do it. Don't wait. So, but you see, in that situation where you must increase like this, you're simply not viable. What's happening to you is the way you kill poison oak. You feed certain hormones, which you paint on the leaves, and this promotes the growth so excessively that they just blow up. And we're in a situation like that where our progress is cancer. We're going to blow up by sheer... Unless, you see, we stop the future. Time must have a stop. And create a diversion.
All this going on, the swinging of the ball, the pattern in which the flower goes, is just to swing. And if you take it seriously and say, are you doing anything useful? Useful for what? Useful to go on. But if you take that attitude to going on becomes a drag. Survival becomes a sweat, and it's not worth it. And if you teach your children, and they'll imitate you, they'll treat survival as a sweat which they have to undergo, they have to keep going on, and they'll teach their children to do it, and the whole continuation of the human race will be a drag, which is in fact what it's become because of this attitude, and this is the reason why we've invented the atomic bomb and are preparing to commit suicide. Because we think we must happen. And to the degree that we think we must happen, we hate it. And are going to bring it to an end. And stop it.
Stanford University.
This is Bio 150, isn't it? Okay, just wanted to make sure. Okay, so we
got all the badges in my rolly bezel. They be asking where I got it. You can't block the magic. You ain't.
What's up, folks? Your boy MMG Smurf here, tuning in. Today we are here to talk about pretty much what we do every day: blockchain, gaming, DeFi, and specifically today, Axie Infinity and some new updates that they have to the game as far as earnings with SLP, earnings with AXS. So both of these are being updated as far as the earnings and how they go in Axie Infinity. So this is a new update that just occurred this morning. So we're trying to bring this to you nice and fresh. I'm going to transition over to my other window here. We're actually going to check out my lappy tappy. Oops, I'm trying to figure out how to plug in. Usually I have this boy plugged in. Let's do that. Great. Oh, so before we actually check out the game itself and the update, we're going to do the update and then we're going to cover the game. But before we do that, I want to check out the market for SLP itself, just see how SLP is doing today on the market. Now it's taken a little bit of a dive from the 34 cents, 30 something. I think its high was around 34 cents. But the entire market took that dive. SLP, of course, was climbing during that market capitulation, we could say. Currently, so SLP was around, I mean, let's see where we dropped to. I don't have to guess. I'm like, what did it drop to last night when I saw it? Yeah, around 16 cents or so. We saw for a bottom recently. And we're up to went to 21 cent high today. So back up already. And a lot of this is due to the way that they're doing with the system. And so I know, like, when you hear initially that SLP, we're going to go through this thing. We're going to go through this. So why is SLP, why does the chart look like this? It was going down. You know, maybe you were fine with the earnings and this and that, but let's look into the update to Axie Infinity today. Also, at this point in the stream, I should say a few things. None of this stuff is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Please do your own research. This is an informative cryptocurrency and gaming stream where we play games and we get things funded in esports via blockchain and gaming and streaming. You know, everything that we do today, including the stream and stuff like that, is going on something with blockchain and it's earning us something. So welcome, and if you want to know more about anything, feel free to ask in the comments or in the chat, whatever. But Axie Infinity today, they have an update. So it says Axie Arena Season 18 update. Number one on the updates for Axie Infinity is that the seasons are going to be increased by 50% longer than they previously were. I can't, I feel like they were like a month and a half or so maybe, and so maybe it's like a 3-month season. With the top 1,000 players on the leaderboard, maybe it's not. Maybe it was less than that. We got to check into that. But the top 1,000 players on the leaderboard will earn AXS. And so they've also adjusted the SLP earning mechanisms by having the SLP cap for adventure mode to 50 SLP a day. So that's the daily SLP earning ratio. So that's not to say that you can't level up your Axies and continue. I believe you can still go with experience points and stuff on your Axies if you're just battling it in adventure mode. So they become that much stronger, get the stuff done quicker for you. But as far as earning that SLP in adventure mode, it has been halved. So you can imagine whatever you were previously being able to get as your maximum, it's in half now. So to do this, they've reduced the bonus for the claiming rewards. So bonus SLP is reduced from 50 to 25 SLP, and the PvP SLP. This is another thing where, in the title, of course, title things like, well, let's destroy Axie Infinity. I don't think it's going to destroy Axie Infinity. Actually, I think it's really bullish for Axie Infinity and for the SLP token. Reasons for that, I think this is very similar to something that we saw on DLive.tv with the BTT token. So there was a time on DLive.tv where BTT earnings were really high. It was like over a few thousand BTT that you could earn, a percent APR, APY that you could earn, and it was slowly decreasing. And I was telling people it was slowly decreasing. And then all of a sudden they made a big shift where they like halved everything. People were upset and this and that, and they said that they were going to be like keeping a large portion of it to pay out their team. and I made my statement that this is probably bullish for the project, and the fact that not so many people are able to just sell it onto the market, especially people that don't care about the token, versus the project allocating it, being able to allocate it toward different things. So pumping the price so they have to sell less. And we're seeing this with Axie Infinity. At least this is what they're going for with this update. They're attempting to slow down the pace of SLP going out to people so that the price of SLP raises. This is like the exact opposite of what the United States government is doing with our currency, where they're actually inflating the amount of currency out there. They're shoving out more and more, like 45% more of the currency. So you can imagine if SLP was, if Axie Infinity was like, yo, we're looking at this chart. This is like a really good economics lesson right here. Let's see what Axie Infinity did. They were looking at this chart. They said we got a lot more people playing the game. We had a server issue, so that messed up with our servers and stuff like that. And then a lot more people were finally able to play the game. One up. And then what happened once a lot more people were able to play the game? A lot more people started selling SLP. And grinding, and bots are earning SLP and all this other crazy crap. And so if a lot more people are earning SLP, a lot more people are able to just dump SLP because people need to sell SLP to get their earnings. And that's fine. The system is made for that. But if too many people are doing it, like it's just like way more SLP being minted and just sold versus how much is being burned out of rotation. So the United States, again, like as a country that, you know, has a currency that's kind of like the world currency that does this, the United States also burns our currency. They take it out of rotation. Usually we do this for there's different reasons we do this. A large portion of this is done just because, you know, the age of the money, or sometimes they take some of it out because previous issuances of money had copper in them or silver in them. And so let's take that back in because we've been taking them. So things like that. But there's a bunch of different reasons why money gets rotated out. Slash burned from actual currency. So Axie Infinity's thinking, you know, how do we do that for ourselves in a better sense? And that's what they're doing right now. And so we can see the adjustment of that at this very bottom here. It was going down, and here's the adjustment, and then we had a spike up. And so what this means is that over time, your purchasing power with SLP is going to increase. So instead of needing 50 SLP, or 100 SLP a day, to equal, what would that equal, like $30? Maybe you'll need 25 SLP to equal $30, and 50 SLP equals $60. That type of stuff is possible when the chart starts reversing direction, going way above this, because there's less of it being minted, more of it being removed from the market. And that's what they're going for, at least. So hopefully that's what we see. I was mentioning the United States dollar. So USD index, or the DXY is what you call that chart. And so we just looked at Axie and how they reversed things. USD has been actually on the little W pattern in the last few days, and so we might face some Bitcoin resistance there. Like Bitcoin the market might reverse a little bit. So this has been the year issue, is that we keep doing these lower lows and dragging down lower. And so we get these spike ups, but then traditionally we've been going down lower and lower each time. And so when we look at this on the year to date, we got this big low, and so we're trying to spike up, and if we don't spike above this 92.3, which we're just about testing, then that's about our high, and then we usually dip back down. So this is about our high for the year. So this is the DXY potentially at its high right now, if I was looking at the chart. When we break this thing out on a larger scale, we could see where, like, in comparison to Axie, they would potentially need to do something to flip things around for the currency, because, on a much larger time scale, we have a very similar chart to what Axie Infinity just went through over a 2-month period. Axie just did this on a 2-month period. This is the United States over 3 years. And right now it's on this little uptick. Looks very similar. However, at this point in time, I would be more bullish on SLP token than the USD, just because of the way that it's being utilized. Now, maybe the United States will come up with a whole bunch of different ways to utilize that dollar and get it burned up, get people into loans and crazy crap. I think the housing market is doing a fine job at that. But we'll see. We'll see. Anyways, back into these updates. Don't want to get too far off topic. So, last thing that we cover with this, other than the halving of all of the SLP rewards, the daily SLP, your maximum, the bonus rewards, halved. Other than that, PvP is really being incentivized in this new season of Axie Infinity. So the top 1,000 players are getting a lot of AXS. It's over 200,000 USD in AXS. I wish it was in something else, but whatever. 200,000 USD in AXS. I guess it is. It's an AXS. So that's at the time right now, I guess they're saying. So with AXS at $40, let's see what AXS is actually at right now. Let's see if that was bullish for AXS. I just closed out CoinGecko, but let's go back in there. It's at 40. I was like, yeah, it's probably going to be at like $44. That's kind of bullish. So it's actually at $44. So that's more than 200,000 on the table for these top 1,000 players. So a lot of incentive to become a top 1,000 Axie Infinity player. That's a lot of money. Economics adjustment. We've made some adjustments to the SLP earned in game. This is basically the stuff that I was saying. And then they got some PvE adjustments. Although that's the whatchamacallit thing. Basically, with the PvP, what we really want to cover next is the PvP portion, because this is just kind of a breakdown of what we just talked about in terms of charts and stuff like that. Arena for all is what we wanted to go down to, really. This portion covers that the Axie is now going to be focusing more on the player versus player portion of things if you want to earn more. So there's still going to be earnings potential, nice earnings potential in adventure mode. But of course, that's been halved so that when you play those PvP battles versus an actual player and you win those battles, you earn that much more SLP. So that's where the majority of the SLP is being focused now. All these charts for earnings and stuff like that are going to have to be redone because they've redone the system and focused it on SLP for PvP battles. I think this is good. The higher that you raise in your rank, the more that you're going to be rewarded in SLP. And now, of course, I'm sure people feel some type of way about that because people are like, oh, my Axies aren't as good. I'm never going to earn as much as this. Well, honestly, if you paid $1 million for your Axie, then maybe you should be earning more, quite honestly. For this really strong Axie that just kills everything in one hit, probably be earning more anyways because you're winning more battles. And that was a big commitment. But whatever, it's a pay-to-play system in that sense, or a pay-to-level up. But aside from that, aside from people complaining about, oh, this competition, it's competition of a tough Axie. Yes, it's been bought and made tough. But other than that, this starts to balance out a system when you incentivize climbing the ranks like this. And this is something that they also mention here. Money Match Gaming has also done something like this in our Discord arcade, where you can play Smash Bros and earn tickets. And at the lowest level, you earn 1 ticket per match. You win the match, you earn 1 ticket. But as you rank up and face more difficult opponents, you earn more tickets per match. This incentivizes players to rise the ranks and not just stay at a lower level and farm for 1 per match, or they have to play way more matches to get it. It incentivizes them to rise the ranks, maybe play less matches, but earn that much more, and they're out of everybody else's hair. And the lower level players get to play each other and level up, and you actually get to have fun playing the game and earning your money as you level up, and eventually, you start to go up, you get skill, and everybody starts to level up that way. And the system, it works out. It's a better system, and they've got a lot more players that do it here. They're working on their esports section. They're working on allowing players to just match up with each other for fun matches. In this, I'm not going to read this whole thing, but in this, they also mention things about what they mention scholars and how they like this whole type of mechanism for scholars, and how it incentivizes scholars to learn more about the game and not just, I'm just going to grind by pushing button. You become a skilled person who learns about the game and learns more about how to utilize the items within the game, etc. and the system, the SLP that you do earn, etc. So they mentioned that, and then they also talk about land, and how you can use resources and whatnot to level up an Axie, etc. They don't go very deep into it, but they do mention it there. And at this time, when they're mentioning that, along with this update, they're talking about land with the update at the same time. For me, I'm like, yo, when they push these new servers, I don't know. I feel like land is probably, it's been like they had like a year since the beta. I feel like land, we might be getting another a beta test of land coming soon. We'll see. Hopefully at least land holders, but we'll see. Anyways, I know the title of the video was a little bit more doom and gloom, where it was like, will this destroy Axie? And my conclusion is, I don't think this is going to destroy Axie. This chart right here is the number of Axies that the average holder has. So average Axies per holder has been going down, which means, the cost of Axies going up, Axie holders selling them to more people, but it's not, the price is going up for Axies though. So it's balancing out, and they just want to see the same thing happen for SLP. Obviously, AXS is doing just fine. So again, my conclusion for Axie, I think this is actually really bullish for Axie. I did want to try a clickbait type of title today. But yeah, thank you for joining us. I want to keep it kind of short. I'm going to trim this down. Join us in a few minutes. We'll be back live and playing some Axie Infinity.